You've seen a lot of different stuff. What is one thing someone has done to land a job that was out of the ordinary or that worked really well? And maybe one that failed, where they tried to do something out of the ordinary and it just tanked. Yeah.
Yeah. I have this in one of my books. It's crazy. Just a crazy thing. And this is out really outside the box. So I wouldn't even recommend this right now. But basically, they were interviewing for a medical device sales job. And if you know anything about medical device sales, it's very difficult to get into, extremely, especially without experience. It's almost probably what you guys are facing. So the guy did a LinkedIn with the sales manager that he was going to interview with and read through his LinkedIn profile, learn more about who he was going to. That's what I recommend people to do, is learn more about who you're going to interview with. And he learned that he had a passion for food. And so the guy actually liked barbecue food. And so guess what? During the interview, Mike showed up with a bunch of barbecue samples and baked beans and just this whole, you can't do that during COVID right now, but that
Right.
was something, like I said, I don't recommend that. But the guy was so impressed. He's like, "How did you know I like Memphis sweet barbecue?" And he was like, "I came prepared for the interview today. I read through your company. Here's what I know about your company. And also here's what I know about you. What do you think I'm going to do for the customers this is my call planning. This is how I'm going to
That's
call plan."
great.
And they were like, "Wow." And now, do I think he got the job because that was the best taste in barbecue in the world? No. But what I think was, it was outside the box. And you have to be creative. Some of the things that have backfired on people, sometimes you can get a little bit too cute and you can use things that, so I think that Mike had a real targeted approach with a barbecue. First of
Right.
all, he tied it back into how he could grow the business, that he
Yeah.
takes care
Great
of the
answer.
customer that much. Here's where I've seen it fail. So, because I did it, I was interviewing for Eli Lilly, and I was like, I got to find some way to make myself stand apart. And sometimes you make yourself stand apart in a weird way. And I tried it. And so I put in a shoe and I wrapped it up in as a present and I brought it to the interview. And they opened it and I said, they were like, "Oh, a new shoe. Thank you." And I said, "Read the tag." And it said, "I'm a shoe in for the job." And so it was cheesy. It didn't go over well though. You could tell by their faces. You kind
Yeah.
of know, like, it's just not
Yeah.
professional.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what did a shoe in have to do with anything with a job? Nothing. And
Mm.
so it was like a cue, is he being serious type thing? And I never did get called back. So it can backfire. So it's a slippery slope where you have to do it.
No, I think those were great examples. I love how he worded that barbecue thing. Hey, I know so much about you. Like I prepared, and just imagine how if I prepared this much for the interview, imagine what I'm going to do for your company. I love that. That is great wording. Yeah, super amazing. Yeah. So when people are in this interview process, the average job gets something like 200, applications per job. And so when people are in this sort of space, how do they stand out in the interview process? Like maybe I know we talked about the barbecue thing, that was amazing, but what does it look like to stand out?
When you stand out from your competition, I think the person that stands out to me, the one that's the most prepared. So if they come
Mhm.
in the interview and they've got more information that I know about my company, I'm sitting there, wow, this guy's good, or he knows
Right.
their software, their technology. The more prepared you are, we talked about how that eases your nerves, but also it shows how eloquent you are during the interview. Another way I think you make yourself stand out among the competition in a job interviewing is when they ask you, "Tell me about yourself." See, it can go two ways. Either you have a really bad answer and it's so research has shown that most hiring managers make their decisions about a candidate in about 30 seconds. 30 seconds. So think about that. And if we know the number one asked interview question in North America
Usually the first one.
is, "Tell me about yourself," because
Right.
people,
Yeah.
they judge you off that answer. So tell me about yourself. You really have to practice, prepare. It is a elevator pitch that you're going to give. It's what businesses do. It's what I do. It's how you offer yourself, you sell yourself. It's not reading your resume. That is the last thing you want to do is be like, I've worked here at Google for the last 3 years here. That's automatic done. And then you want to be able to tell a story. What value can you bring to the company? Tell your unique story in your way. How are you going to change? What are you going to do in this role to create revenue? How are you creative? Show me your strengths, show me your talents, and put that into a unique pitch. And then that's going to start off your interview in the right direction. People really stand out from that. The third thing I think people can do to stand out is after the interview, have questions that are good questions, not who is
Mm,
your CEO? For who can you can look that up on the internet. Or I've had people say, what do you sell? Wait, you're here for a sales job and you don't know what we sell? Those kind of questions are damning. Where your
right.
questions that can make you stand out is, let's say you're interviewing for IBM. Hey, I noticed in China that you have a new growth model, that you're set to release some software. I read that in a press release on September 15th. You launched that into a new segment. Now you're going into this niche. I'm programming in that field. How would that help revenue in our company? And where would that take us to the next step? That's an educated question. And it also shows you done your homework. Those make you stand out from your competition.